Hello and Assalamu alaikum. I'm Marwa Mahkum Sheikh. Welcome to Naramis. The 2025 Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin was more than just another gathering of leaders. It symbolized a deeper shift in global strategy. To really grasp this moment, we need to step back into two classic frameworks of geopolitics: Alfred Mahan's sea power theory and Halford Mackinder's Heartland theory. Mahan believed maritime supremacy was the key to national greatness. Mackinder, on the other hand, argued that whoever controls the Eurasian heartland holds the keys to global dominance. Today, the SCO's rise suggests something striking. China is adapting Mackinder's vision, while America still leans on Mahan's century-old maritime playbook. Let's start with Mahan. Back in 1890, this US naval officer published The Influence of Sea Power Upon History. His formula was simple but powerful: a strong navy, control of choke points and trade routes, overseas bases, and a robust merchant marine. For more than 100 years, US strategy has followed this script almost to the letter. Think of the American aircraft carriers, 11 of them, stationed across the globe. From the South China Sea to the Strait of Hormuz and the Mediterranean, they guarantee presence. Bases stretching from Diego Garcia to Guam mirror Mahan's obsession with logistics. And freedom of navigation patrols keep choke points firmly under US influence. Alliances with Japan, Australia, and NATO? That too comes straight from Mahan's call for maritime coalitions. This system allowed the US to secure trade, deter rivals, and project power after World War II. In short, for decades, sea power meant American power. Now contrast that with Mackinder. Writing in 1904, he offered his famous dictum: "Who rules East Europe commands the heartland, who rules the heartland commands the world island, who rules the world island commands the world." The heartland, as he defined it, was Eurasia, shielded from naval attack, vast in resources, and strategically deep. During the Cold War, Western containment was essentially about preventing Soviet control of this zone. And Mackinder warned, if a land power ever fused its resources with naval strength, the balance would be overturned. Fast forward to today, China has revived that logic through its Belt and Road Initiative. Pipelines, highways, and railways knit together Central Asia, South Asia, and Europe. Fiber optic cables and AI networks have become the new arteries of integration. Chinese strategists don't hide it. They cite the heartland as central to Beijing's future. Historically, sea and land powers checked each other. Britain and the US leaned on blockades, Russia and others relied on sheer land depth. Later, theorists like Nicholas Spikeman emphasized the rimland, the coastal zones where land and sea meet. But in the 21st century, this neat divide is eroding. China is playing both games. On land, it builds continental links through the SCO and Belt and Road. At sea, it is constructing the world's largest navy. This is exactly what Mackinder once warned. The greatest threat to maritime empires is a land power that also masters the ocean. Consider the SCO itself. Founded in 2001 as a modest security pact, it now includes China, Russia, India, Pakistan, and Iran, covering almost 3/5 of Eurasia. No Western powers inside. Through this forum, China harmonizes security interests, strengthens trade, and extends digital infrastructure. Pipelines, fiber cables, and corridors are all instruments of resilience against outside pressure. India's presence complicates a simple China-Russia axis, but it also shows the SCO's appeal as a broad, non-Western platform. Now zoom in on Tianjin. Leaders of China, Russia, India, Pakistan, and Iran, representing over 3 billion people, stood on one stage. Xi Jinping declared the world was entering a new phase of turbulence and called for a just and balanced international order. The subtext was clear: a model distinct from US dominance. Symbolically, Xi, flanked by Putin and Modi, captured Eurasian solidarity. Substantively, two initiatives stood out. First, a proposed SCO development bank, an alternative to the IMF and World Bank. Second, the Tianjin Declaration on AI Cooperation, a pledge for shared research and digital infrastructure. In Mackinder's day, power was railways and armies. In today's heartland, it's cloud systems, AI labs, and financial independence. Meanwhile, America's sea power faces limits. Naval patrols cannot stop railways or pipelines. Carriers matter less in landlocked regions like Central Asia. And here's the twist. China has embraced Mahan too. Its navy is already the world's largest by ship count, with aircraft carriers and overseas bases. Xi Jinping himself has echoed Mahan's claim that nations rise and fall with their command of the seas. So Washington now faces a competitor that uses both playbooks, Mackinder's Heartland and Mahan's oceans. That does not mean US collapse, but it does mean relative decline. Sea power alone no longer guarantees primacy when Eurasia is knitting itself together under the SCO. So what does all this mean? The 2025 Tianjin summit showcased how Mackinder's Heartland theory is being rewritten in the language of digital networks and financial sovereignty. It also revealed the limits of America's old maritime strategy. The contest is no longer sea versus land. It's the synthesis of both. China, in effect, applies Mackinder on land and Mahan at sea. And the US, long master of the oceans, now faces a rival with both continental depth and naval reach. The verdict from Tianjin is striking. America's Mahanian century is giving way to China's Mackinderian one. The 21st century may not belong to an oceanic empire, but to a Eurasian system that binds land and sea into a new balance of power. What are your thoughts on the topic? Drop them in the comments below. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.